Holy moly, some of the biggest trading platforms in America are down when the market crashed 1,000 points yesterday. You heard me right. Fidelity, Charles, AMERITRADE, all these companies were down when the market suddenly crashed. That's right. When the market's going to crash, it's going to be suddenly. And suddenly, people are not going to be having access to their brokerage accounts. They're not going to have access to their banks. Now, for months, I've been reporting to you all types of banks have been going down. We had Chase Bank. We had Wells Fargo. We had Capital One. And if you go back into my YouTube channel, which I highly recommend, I reported on all these, that all these Bank of America, all these major banks, all of a sudden have these system failures out of nowhere, okay? And what's worse is now we're seeing the system failures happening in a big tumble down, a big collapse. When the collapse is happening, people are rushing out there to take their money or sell off. They're not going to be able to. Now, is this a drill? Is this a test? I don't know, but I think, in my opinion, that it could be because there's so many banks are having technical difficulties and brokerage firms. For example, Wells Fargo, Capital One, Bank of America, they've all have experienced this in the last year. If you go look 12 months back, somehow, some way, they're having server problems. They're not allowing people to log in. When they log in, the balance are showing zero. They cannot trade. They cannot sell. So in one sense, we think that it's our money. We put it into Fidelity, and it's our stocks, and we can liquidate it anytime we want. And that is true when the market is good. But in a meltdown, these big institutions are not going to allow you or me or anyone to cash out, to sell our chips, because they want us to hold the bag when all shit breaks loose. Let me say that again. This has been done from multiple banks to brokerage firm. Think about this. It's your money. It's your stock. And they're not going to let you cash out in the bad times. Why do I say that? Well, yesterday we saw in the last 2 years, the biggest crash in Dow Jones, and some of the biggest companies from AMERITRADE to Fidelity, Charles Schwab's, they all went dark. They were all down. They would not allow people to sell their stocks. They had people that came online, said because of the meltdown, there was a lot of problems and their servers and their equipment got overloaded. Well, guys, the bad news is 1,000 points is nothing compared to what's coming. What's going to happen when there's a 40% drop? What's going to happen when there's a 60% drop? Is anyone going to be able to sell their bags? I don't think so, because these institutions, just like the banks, were going to protect their butt before your butt, even though it's your money. Now, this is not financial advice, but what I can tell you is I have reported here on this YouTube channel multiple American banks being down, going dark, just out of nowhere. And most craziest one is the one just happened just yesterday in the middle of the meltdown. People could not access their account. People could not sell their stocks portfolio. And some people even reported that their balance was showing zero. Which is probably what's going to be happening when we have a bail-in when the market crash. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been ringing the bell. I've been really active since 2016, letting the American people know that bubbles are everywhere. I mean, as a real estate investor, I see bubbles everywhere. They're building everywhere. The home builders are totally in debt. They're not profitable, but their stocks keep going up. And thanks to the Dodd-Frank Act, this time when all shit breaks loose, by law, these bankers are going to bail in and take the savings of you and me, right? That's why I am for gold. That's why I am for Bitcoin versus the fiat printed money by the Fed. And what is crazy is that not only one institution like Fidelity, like how is it that three different brokerage firms all of a sudden pulled the plug? I mean, it's not just one. If it was just one, we'll say what was a technical difficulty. But you can see this is what is the word for it in America? But this is like they all got together and they decided to do this all at one time, especially when the market was crashing. It was like a collaboration. It was like backhand. They're all talking like, oh shit, man, people are selling. We got to pull the plug. We got to pull the plug. Okay. Why do they want to do this? Think about it. Why do they want to do this? Why did it all happen? What is the odds of three biggest mortgage brokers all having technical problems all at one time? And we're only having a 1%, 2%, 3% drop. What's going to happen when we have 40% drop? What's going to happen when we have 60% drop? When would they give access to people to their funds? Is it going to be 1 week, 1 month? And guys, if it's even 5 hours of delay, that can mean your whole life saving being wiped out. That can mean your retirement being wiped out, because when all shit breaks loose is very, very suddenly. And in that minutes, in those minutes, people can lose thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars. It depends what you have in your banking account and what you have in your stock profile. So that said, I always say, fuck a stinky banker. Again, let me say that. Fuck a stinky banker. Because they're not trusted. They can't be trusted. You know, from the beginning of times, they've been funding both wars, both sides of the wars. They've been enslaving us, and they print the money, and they want you and me to go work for it. They want us to trade our life energy for something they're printing off a printing press, and then they give out that money to people closest to them, to the printing press, which is big corporations. And the average worker in America has to worry about something called a FICO score, where the big corporations are getting interest-free money, right? And the central bankers are just printing money for free. So this is the society we live in. It doesn't matter if you're in America, you're in Germany. All around the world, we saw major losses yesterday. And people say, man, FDIC or America's great. You know, they're not going to do that to us. The bankers are not going to do that to it. Bullshit. They did it to us in 2006, where we had to bail out the bankers, big corporations. They did it to us in the Great Depression. And you got to understand that this whole scheme is set up for the elites to siphon away the youth, the resources, the energy, the money of the people by them becoming elite. So in my mind, this was an organized fraud committed by Fidelity, Charles, and AMERITRADE to not allow people to cash out of their losses. And man, that is some crazy shit right there, right? I mean, like, some people lost money, and what is the liability of these companies? You know, you're supposed to be up. They're not here to be our custodians or babysitters. They're not here to be like, hey, well, you can't sell right now. I mean, who are they to tell us that we can't sell our stocks when the market's going down? What are they, our parents? I mean, think about it. It's your money. You're the one that worked for it. You're the one that sacrificed. You're the one that had to work 40 hours. And then who is Fidelity to tell you can't sell? Who are they to unplug your life savings so you cannot sell? Who are they? Why should they have the power to do that? And why should a stinky banker have the power to tap into your savings and bail them out because they took risky loans? They took risky derivatives. They made all these bets. And now that they got busted, we got to bail them out. We're the ones that have to hold on to the sacks of shit that has no value, like all the stocks. Like, if you look at the home builders, a lot of them I brought to you on my channel have horrible balance sheets. For every dollar they bring in, they got to get into debt $4 or $5. But on the other hand, their stock's going up and up. So who's going to hold on to these shitty sacks? Us. Because the insiders, like I reported to you just a couple of days ago, they're selling at a tune of $500,000. I'm sorry, $500 million, 500 and something, okay? The CEOs, the insiders of these home builders, the inside of these corporations. There's no, I mean, have you thought about why Amazon leader Jeff Bezos just sold out? Have you thought about why are these so many of these top elites, insiders in these Fortune 500 companies are just cashing out on their stocks, right? While the average American is buying into those stocks, even though we're having the highs of the highs. I mean, guys, eventually all this fake phantom gains are just going to be wiped out, because unless you cash out, not financial advice, unless you cash out, equity is a delusion. It can be easily wiped out. But what is for real is the debt. And so many corporations, so many people, even governments all over the world are so indebted that they're not going to allow the average person to be able to take their life energy, take their savings away in this crash, because they're all going to go down. You know, the corporations, government, collapse of the dollar. Now, I'm not saying that the dollar is going to collapse tomorrow. I don't have a crystal ball, but I can tell you something, that the dollar is worth 95% less than when it was created, when we decoupled from the gold standard, guys. 95% less. And with the tariff trade wars, with the coronavirus, with the manufacturing slowing down, well, we're going to see some hard times hit America like we never seen it again, like before. The Great Depression is going to look like a little mirror versus what we're into, because the manufacturer of the world has just shut down because of the coronavirus. The slowdown, the zombie companies that are walking around totally in debt, that don't have any equity, is going to catch up to us. The federal government, the states that are totally in debt, is going to eventually catch up to us when they can't pay their pensions, when they can't pay their unsecured liabilities like Social Security, Medicare. But I tell you what, we are going to bail out all these companies like Lockheed Martin. Lockheed Martin just made a $3 billion sell to sell weapons, right? But the average person just lost 2 or 3% off their 401s, and they couldn't even sell their stocks because big corporation like Fidelity thought that you shouldn't sell. They didn't want you to sell. So think about what I just said. And all of a sudden, one day you're going to go to your bank, one day you're going to try to sell your stock, and it's not going to work, and the market is going to be crashing, and you're going to be like, damn, Mike warned me about it in 2016. Guys, all craziness is happening. They're just not reporting it to you. This is a coordinated attack on the people, and you can see all three companies like Fidelity, Charles, AMERITRADE are all working behind the scenes to inhibit us from being our dreams. Thank you guys for watching. Click the like button. Don't take no for an answer. If you're interested in capitalizing on the real estate sector, because we're going to see massive discounts, we're going to see massive people underwater, then you may consider joining my profit sharing, where I hold your hand, I look over your shoulder, and we'll work together to do one deal and split the profits, guys. If you're interested in that, then go to mrnofluff.com and click on profit sharing at the very top, guys, under the coaching. If you're interested in starting a side hustle with just $100, no training, no education, no complex stuff, you don't need a website, you don't need to learn nothing, then you should download the new Flip, guys. I teach you how to take $100 and get 2x or 200x to 700x returns, guys. All right. Only in America. It works in all these countries. I have students in Great Britain. So the new Flip allows you to quickly and to make 2x to 7x out of your money. And you can download my book right now at mrnofluff.com. And not only have I done it, I have students in California, I have students in Florida, I have students in Colorado, I have students in Great Britain, all over the world, guys, that have tried it, from Canada, and it works. All you got to do is just copy and paste and take action to make it work. So if you're looking for a side hustle, if you're looking to quit your job and you want to get into something full-time, then you might consider downloading the new Flip. It works. I do it every day. And I love it. It's so easy. It doesn't take a lot of work, and it's my side hustle. I package it up in my book. There's a course, there's manuals, and you can download it right now at MrNoFluff.com. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't take no for an answer. And remember, when it happens, it's going to happen very, very fast. And big corporations like bankers and brokers, they're not going to allow you to have access to your funds because it's not your money. It's their money. Peace.